action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here from Toy News International. Now today I am trying something a little bit different. If you caught my vlog video yesterday, you heard me talk about how things are a little bit hectic here this week. I've got some relatives coming in from North Carolina who are fleeing the hurricane. So, and also that, plus it's just kind of been a slow news week. So instead of doing a normal news video today, I thought I would try something new. And this is something I've kind of toyed around with in my mind previously. And basically what it is over the years, I've collected a lot of toys, a lot of action figures and stuff, many of which I just, don't have room to display and stuff. And as the years have gone by and as I've moved from multiple houses and stuff over the years, a lot of the stuff has just gotten tossed into containers like the one you see here. So I thought it'd be kind of cool, maybe fun. Many of these containers, I really don't know exactly what's in them anymore. A lot of different things. Again, where, I've just tossed things in here and stuff. So I thought I would pull one of these out and open up and just go through it a little bit. And I'm not going to go through every single thing in this thing because this is a pretty big container and it would take forever to go through everything. But I'm just going to randomly pull stuff out and we'll take a look at it and what have you. So it's kind of like an unboxing video, where, we kind of surprise and see what we got in here. Okay, so I'm going to set this down on the floor here. And then I'm just going to randomly, I'm not even going to look. I'm just going to kind of dig in and pull something out. So here we have, this is a Masters of the Universe figure from the 2000 line, Cobra Khan here. So I collected most of these 2000 figures. I like the cartoon. I didn't really collect Masters of the Universe when I was a kid, so I don't have really any vintage Masters of the Universe, but I always watched the cartoons. I watched the He-Man cartoon. I watched the She-Ra cartoon. So I've always liked He-Man. I don't know, for whatever reason, I was more into G.I. Joe and stuff than Masters of the Universe when I was a kid. But definitely had most of these, but, when they ended the cartoon and the line, I ended up putting, these off into storage and what have you. So I got some classic figures up on display in the back there. I don't have a lot of classics. I didn't subscribe to Matty Collector and stuff and get them all, but I did get a few here and there. But with most of these, I did end up buying them when they were out at regular retail. And so definitely a cool figure. Alright. And it's not going to be anything, at least I don't think there's going to be anything like super rare or valuable in here. This is mostly just random stuff. So here we have a Sentinel. So this, I believe, is from the HeroClix line, I want to say. One of those things, but I thought it was cool. They started doing these larger character figures, and I think it was HeroClix. It doesn't say, but I think that's what this was from. Or maybe not HeroClix. Maybe it was from the Hasbro, that miniature figure line. I'm drawing a blank on the name of, not Mighty Mugs, but the little miniature figure. I don't know. But one of those kind of cutesy lines. And so they did a couple of these guys. They did Galactus and they did the Sentinel. So he's got limited articulation and stuff. Alright, what else have we got in here? Digging around, dig deep. So this is a wrestler type dude. Now this isn't a WWE. I forget what this line is from. A lot of this stuff I ended up getting just, through the webs, through Toy News International. So not all this stuff is stuff that I personally collected. This isn't a WWE figure, but I forget what company made this and what line this actually belongs to. But, it works with your WWE, but so some random wrestling dude. Oh, another one. So yeah, if you recognize it, let me know, because it's probably going to bother me that I can't remember what this line was or what company put this out. Luchador Wrestling. I mean, that was the theme of it, so... Probably a couple of different ones of those in here. So we got another Masters of the Universe. One of the snake people. This was, I love. This was a great line. I really was disappointed, and I thought the cartoon was awesome. The 2000 Masters of the Universe cartoon, it was one of the best cartoons put out in a really long time. So I was really disappointed when the cartoon got canceled and they quit doing these figures. I'm sure Mattel was too, but definitely, yeah, it was disappointing. I think one of the things that plagued this line was distribution. I remember, a lot of these figures was not widely, distributed, which is a problem that even plagues Mattel today, sadly. But definitely these were cool figures. Let's go over this side of the crate and see what we can pull out. So this is an older Soda Toy Street Fighter figure. So this, to me, is really still probably the top. I think the Soda figures are better than even like Storm Collectibles or the SH Figuarts Street Fighter figures that we're seeing today. These were much more on par with like Marvel Legends. It was disappointing that Soda Toys, the original owner I've talked about this before, Jerry started Soda Toys. He ended up selling the company, and then the company basically kind of went under at that point. But definitely, Soda put out some really good figures in its time. So we got Guile here from the Street Fighter line. And, like I said, these figures were well articulated. And I like these better than, like I said, than the modern Street Fighter figures that we see. Not that the modern ones are bad or anything. That's just, I think these ones are really hard to beat. Alright, what else we got? Okay. An older Transformer. So this is from Generation 2. This is actually my favorite version of Megatron, if you want my, to be honest. So this is Megatron after he got turned into a tank. So toy-wise, I think they did it because the gun, at this point, the regulations were getting stricter, and, putting out a toy that looked like an actual weapon was getting tricky for Hasbro, so they turned him into a tank. But there was a whole backstory done in the comic books, the Marvel comics back in the day, where, they turned Megatron into this tank. Essentially, it's actually kind of ties in, it was a tie-in with G.I. Joe, so that made it kind of interesting. Not a lot that I liked about Generation 2 for Transformers, but this toy, I think, is a great toy. Now, they did various versions, a smaller version of Megatron as a tank and everything, but I think this one is actually, a very solid toy. Not too difficult to actually transform or anything. And then again, it's just cool with the backstory and everything with G.I. Joe and stuff, how they did that. Okay. I don't know how many more of these I'm going to do. Like I said, if I did everything, we'd be here all day. Okay, so an old Marvel Select. So I don't collect a lot of Marvel Select, but I did have the early figures. And that's probably why I don't collect a lot of them, because the articulation on these things were horrible when the line first started out. They were more statue than anything. I want to say this might be the first one. Spider-Man was the first Marvel Select that they did. I'm not sure if it was, I can't remember if it was this one, but definitely this is one of the earlier ones. So, you see he doesn't even have knee articulation. He's essentially stuck in this one position, kind of like a McFarlane toy. So, was not fond of the line when it first started, and probably why I don't really heavily collect it even today. Articulation's definitely gotten better on the line, but still, not really up to par with Marvel Legends for the most part. I go deep again. Digging around. Feels like somebody with a cape. Yep. So, DC directs Eradicator. So, from the Death of Superman storyline. So, I love this figure. I love this costume. You know, the Death of Superman, the Rebirth of Superman story was okay, but I love, you know, these various Supermans that they ended up coming out with. So, he's got the glasses. So this is a great figure, even by today's standards. This is a great figure. The only downside is, you know, like a lot of the DC collectible, DC Direct stuff, especially back in the day, it just wasn't well articulated. So you got, I mean, it's better than that Marvel Select figure, but still, you only had very basic articulation, no midsection or anything. So that's really the downside. But still, and this is a 7-inch scale figure, but the detailing on it, I mean, everything is really nice. And, you know, this is definitely one of the cool, you know, Steel was probably my least favorite as far as the overall look. I just didn't like the armor that much, but Superboy is probably my favorite from that storyline. I like that look for Superboy, but this one was definitely a good one as well. Okay, let's do two more. See, what is this? G.I. Joe. So this is a G.I. Joe figure. What is this? This is one of the Dreadnoks. And honestly, it's got a Dreadnought for Life t-shirt. I think it was based on the Devil's Due comic, I want to say. I can't remember if this is supposed to be a re-envision one of the classic Dreadnoks or a new one. You G.I. Joe fans probably remember better than I do. I try and block out the Devil's Due run of comics, but I think that's what this is based on, one of the Devil's Due comic book characters. So he's got the coat and everything. Most of my G.I. Joe figures I have on display on the back wall here, but a few, you know, from I mean, that's the, mostly from the 25th anniversary line, whereas some of these other lines, basically ended up in these, bins and stuff, so. Alright, let's go deep for one last dive. Two things kind of fell in my hand, so I'm going to pull out two at the same time. So we got another Street Fighter figure from Soda Toys. So this is the Bison figure. Sorry, my computer screensaver just came on. But this is M. Bison. So again, I mean, this is a great looking figure. And this figure was put out, what, like 15 years ago, something like that? Good articulation. I mean, these are just, you know, top of the line. Has soft goods cape. You had various accessories and everything. So, I mean, this line was essentially, I mean, came out during the time of the Toy Biz Marvel Legends. That's where I think, you know, this kind of modeled after. And, you know, they did a really good job with these. So. And then another Masters of the Universe from the 2000 line. This is Triclops. Great figure. Turn his headpiece there. Yeah, good, you know, good modernization of the character. I mean, that's another thing why I like the line. I mean, the classics are cool. I like the classics, but, you know, the classics are basically just taking the designs of the original line and kind of, you know, giving them better articulation and stuff. But I liked how these, you know, these newer figures kind of took classic characters, but then redesigned them with a more modern look. So I like this line actually better than the classic line, and that might be because I really didn't collect the original Masters. I don't know, but I definitely like these. This is my favorite Masters of the Universe line. I probably should pull these all out and put them on the shelf or something, but like I said, I generally tend to display the more modern figures, you know, if there's a, you know, what's more modern. And so, like I said, I got a few of the Masters back here on display, but Masters doesn't have a huge display shelf in my collection just because it's not been one of my top lines. But But I did, I did like this line a lot when it came out. Okay, so I think I'm going to cut it there. So I've got a lot more in this tub, and I've got a lot more of these kinds of tubs filled with toys and stuff. So if you like this kind of thing, if you like seeing older toys and stuff, let me know in the comment section. If you don't, if you think this is stupid, if it's a waste of your time, you don't care what's in there, let me know as well. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now, as I mentioned before, I've got my in-laws coming in. They're fleeing the hurricane that's about to hit the Carolinas this weekend. If you're somebody who lives in the path of this storm, please be safe. My thoughts and prayers go out to you. This one, I mean, every year they say, storm of the century, but this one definitely looks like could live up to that reputation. So quite honestly, it's a good chance my in-laws' house is going to be wiped out this weekend, which is why they're coming up here with what they could bring and everything. But definitely, first thing is get yourself to safety, and hopefully your house or what have you will survive the storm. But again, my thoughts and prayers go out to everybody, and just want you to be safe. All right, so hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't. Hit the bell notifications so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And of course, you can also follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I have links to all those in the video description as well. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.